In the small village of Ilesha, nestled deep within the Yoruba lands, there lived a young orphan named Ayo. His parents had died under mysterious circumstances on the night he was born, leaving him in the care of his uncle Sola and Aunt Amara. Ayo's life was a constant struggle. Every day, his uncle and aunt, along with their two children, Ken and Nasi, treated him as nothing more than a burden. While Ken and Nasi enjoyed lavish meals and fine clothing, Ayo was given scraps and rags. He was made to do all the household chores and was often beaten for the smallest mistakes.
Ayo's only solace was the village lagoon, where he would go every evening to fetch water. The lagoon was a peaceful place, surrounded by tall palm trees and the sounds of nature. It was here that Ayo first met the mysterious elderly woman who seemed to know everything about him. She would often appear out of nowhere, offering kind words and advice. This woman, though old and frail in appearance, had a wisdom about her that comforted Ayo. She told him that he was not alone and that the gods were watching over him. Unbeknownst to Ayo, this woman was his guardian angel, sent by the gods to protect him from the evil that surrounded him.
Aunt Amara was a woman with dark ambitions. She despised Ayo, believing that his presence in the household threatened her plans for her own children. Amara had been secretly plotting to rid herself of her husband Sola and Ayo, so she could take all of Sola's wealth and flee to the city with her lover. One day, Amara concocted a devious plan. She decided to poison her husband's meal and frame Ayo for the crime. She prepared a special dish, laced with a deadly toxin, and instructed Ayo to serve it to Sola. However, fate had other plans. As Ayo was about to serve the meal, Nasi, Amara's own daughter, arrived home unexpectedly. Nasi, being young and hungry, saw the dish and ate it before anyone could stop her. Within minutes, she collapsed and died. The entire village was thrown into chaos. Ayo was blamed for the death of Nasi, with Sola and Amara accusing him of deliberately poisoning her.
Amara, seeing her plan backfire, was devastated, but determined to pin the blame on Ayo. However, Ayo's guardian angel intervened once again. The elderly woman appeared to Ayo at the lagoon and gave him a special drink, a water blessed by the gods, which would protect him from any harm or poison. Ayo drank the water, and from that moment on, nothing Amara tried could hurt him.
Following Nasi's death, Uncle Sola and Aunt Amara became even more cruel towards Ayo. They starved him, beat him, and constantly reminded him that he was responsible for his parents' deaths, and now for Nasi's death as well. The villagers, influenced by Amara's lies, began to believe that Ayo was cursed and had brought misfortune to his family. Sola, desperate to get rid of Ayo, visited a powerful herbalist on the advice of Amara. The herbalist was known for his dark magic and was feared by many.
Sola asked the herbalist to find a way to kill Ayo, but the herbalist refused. He told Sola that Ayo was protected by the gods, and any attempt to harm him would only bring ruin upon those who tried. Enraged, Sola returned home and devised another plan. He forced Ayo to drink a potion made from poisonous plants, saying that if he was guilty of killing Nasi, he would die within 2 days. Ayo, knowing that he had the protection of his guardian angel, drank the potion without fear.
2 days passed and Ayo remained unharmed. The villagers were shocked, but Sola and Amara refused to give up. They continued to torment Ayo, hoping to break him. But no matter what they did, Ayo remained resilient. His faith in the protection of the gods and the guidance of the elderly woman kept him strong.
Amara, realizing that none of her attempts to kill Ayo had worked, returned to the herbalist, begging for a way to rid herself of the boy. The herbalist, weary of her persistence, gave her a final solution: a powerful curse that would transfer Ayo's death to another person. Amara was instructed to prepare a special meal and feed it to Ayo. The curse would cause the person who tried to harm Ayo to suffer instead.
Desperate, Amara prepared the meal and served it to Ayo. As Ayo began to eat, Ken, Amara's son, walked in and snatched the food from Ayo's hands, thinking it was just another meal meant for him. Ken ate the food quickly, unaware of the curse placed upon it. Moments later, Ken fell to the ground, dead. Amara was horrified, realizing that her son had paid the price for her wickedness. Uncle Sola, witnessing the death of his son, was overcome with grief and fear. He realized that Ayo was indeed protected by the gods and that any further attempts to harm him would only bring more death. Sola fell to his knees, begging Ayo for forgiveness, pleading for his life. Ayo, with a heart full of compassion, forgave his uncle, understanding that it was Amara who had driven him to such evil deed.
The death of Ken brought the family to the brink of collapse. Amara, now broken and desperate, decided to confess her sins. She could no longer bear the weight of her guilt and the fear of what might happen next. One evening, as the family gathered in the main hut, Amara fell to her knees and began to confess her dark deeds. She admitted that she had plotted to kill her husband and Ayo, not only for the wealth, but to be with her secret lover in the city. She also revealed that Ken and Nacy were not Sola's children, but the result of her affair.
The confession shocked everyone. Sola, who had believed in his wife's lies, was devastated. The villagers, who had once shunned Ayo, now realized the truth. They turned against Amara, demanding justice for her crimes. But Ayo, showing the same compassion he had always had, asked the villagers to spare her, believing that her own guilt was punishment enough.
Amara, overwhelmed with shame and regret, decided to leave the village forever. Sola, broken but repentant, vowed to raise Ayo as his own son, treating him with the love and care he had denied him for so long. Ayo's guardian angel, the elderly woman, appeared one last time to bless him, assuring him that he was destined for greatness and that his suffering had made him stronger.
The village of Elisha slowly returned to peace, with Ayo growing up to become a wise and just leader. The tale of Ayo and the treachery of his aunt Amara became a story told for generations, a reminder of the power of the gods and the importance of kindness, even in the face of cruelty.